All right, Wolf, this is quickly becoming one of my favorite parts of the week, and we get to talk about a Cardinals win today as well with Cardinals legend Patrick Peterson, who's joining us on the Arizona Sports Line. What's going on, Patrick?
How you guys doing today?
Doing okay, Pat. Appreciate your time, brother.
Anytime. Always a blast to be on with you guys.
Well, Patrick, I appreciate that. I last week, going into the first game, we talked to you a lot about Will Johnson, and I think we got to start there again this week, too, because he made his presence felt, and that was his first ever NFL game, so he probably should have already had his first career interception. He had a huge hit on Chris Olave. He had 3 pass breakups. How difficult is it at that position to make an impact as a rookie?
It's very difficult, because I had the opportunity to live that life. My assignment was a little bit more difficult than Will's is right now, but I'm assuming he will draw those assignments here pretty soon. But coming into the NFL as a rookie DB is tough because the game is so different. The game is much faster. The routes are much different. The rules are against you. And he handled it very well. Like you said, played fast, played physical, should have had an interception, but that was the penalty that took that interception back. But I love the way he played with swagger and confidence. So it's very rare that you can see young DBs stepping into this, grown man league and having that type of swagger, and you could tell that he was prepared for the moment.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I was really, really impressed with him, Pat P. Talk a little bit about the win overall. What were your thoughts in regard to the Cardinals being 1-0 and how they played?
Yeah, I thought it was a great start to the season, a win, a game that I definitely expected them to win. I was pleased with Kyler Murray. I know it wasn't eye-popping numbers, 21-29, 163 yards. But the thing I was most intrigued was that he found a connection with Marvin Harrison Jr. I think that's something that they're going to have to continue to build on throughout the year. And it looked like they're moving in the right direction right now. Obviously it's week 1. I know there's some things that they want to clean up, but for the most part, I thought they ran the ball very well as a team, having 46 yards on 26 attempts. That's something that you want to do, especially when you want to kind of impose your will, and with that stat, that showed me that they control the line of scrimmage. So that's a recipe for winning. Let's see if they can continue it going. And I would love to see that connection of Marvin Harrison and Kyler continue to grow as well.
We're talking to Patrick Peterson. Patrick, since you brought up Marv, especially now that he's put on that weight and that muscle in the offseason, what makes a receiver like him so difficult to cover if he does get in sync with Kyler?
With the muscle mass that he was able to put on, it just makes it tougher for receivers, to knock him off his point of attack. It's tough for receivers to knock him off his route when he is in press coverage. So, I don't know where that idea came from, if it was his dad, if it was Coach Buddy there in the Arizona Cardinals, the strength coach of the Arizona Cardinals. But whatever it is, I feel like it's going to be something that's going to benefit him moving forward, because he definitely looks stronger. He looks he looks like men amongst boys out there now. You know what I mean? With his biceps ripping out of his shoulder, out of his jersey, and he reminds me of his body structure now looks like a little bit more thicker AJ Green. If you guys can see that resemblance a little bit, he's really, really big up top and small down at the bottom, but still can run past DB. So I love what he did in the offseason. It looked like it's paying dividends right now.
Pat P., talk a little bit, if you will, in regard to Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. and why it's so important that they develop this down-the-field chemistry between them. Why is it so important, Pat P.?
Because at the end of the day, that keep defenses on their heels. We know what, Trey McBride brought to Kyler Murray last year, being pretty much a safety valve in the middle of the field. But when you have dynamic pass catchers all over the field, just makes your offense that much more dynamic. Now defenses don't only have to worry about Trey. They have to worry about Marvin. They have to worry about James, and you still have to worry about Kyler with his mobility. You know what I mean? So it makes it tougher for teams to game plan against them. So that's why I feel like it's very, very important for Marvin and Kyler to continue to build on what they started here Sunday, because all that's going to do is put more pressure on defenses.
Patrick Peterson is joining us. Patrick, that play Budda Baker made on Juwan Johnson in the end zone was the second to final play that the Saints had, and it broke up what looked like it was going to be a touchdown. You kind of take us through how, as a defensive back, you have to read a play like that, and then also, I mean, you played with Buddha for what, 4 years? When did
4
you
years,
know?
yep.
How quickly did you know this guy's different?
Oh man, his first day there, he kind of reminded me like a Tyrann Matthews without like the ball skill ability. Not saying that Buddha can't catch or interception or anything like that, but Tyrann Matthews' ball skills is on a whole nother level, and that's why he ended his career with 36 interceptions. But as far as their body structure, their heart, the dog that they have, they're just natural born ball players. And I saw that from day one, just like I saw it from day one when I met Tyrann back in 2009. You know what I mean? So this guy loves ball. He's the hardest worker on the team, even when I was there. I tell him all the time, man, how the hell do you do this week in and week out? And you're the smallest guy on the field. You're just throwing your body all across, putting your body on the line. This guy is running people down from, all parts of the field. Just a ball player, man. And I had a privilege to have an opportunity to play with him and call him my teammate.
Yeah, Pat, overall, when you look at the Arizona Cardinals game plan defensively going into this game and then executing it during the game against the Saints, they really rushed 4 and dropped 7 for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Played a lot of zone as well. Your thoughts on the game plan overall in Spencer Rattler?
Man, I love the game plan because at the end of the day, you want to make those windows tough for unexperienced quarterbacks. Like you don't want to give them easy throws and just being man to man all day, zero coverages. Now they know where to go with the football. The name of the game is you want to make the quarterback hold a football for a tenth of a second. So you want to confuse him and get him off that first read. Therefore, now you have your guys up front being able to eat because at the end of the day, that's how you win ball games. Without, just lining up, playing football, having guys beating their one-on-one matchups up front. When you have to do all this exotic stuff, now you have to be kind of worried about missed assignments, blown coverages. Now what they did was just made it real simple. We're going to put this game, the ownership on the front 4 guys to get after this quarterback, and we're going to confuse them on the back end with coverages. And that's what defensive coordinators tend to do when they play when they are going up against rookie quarterbacks or guys who have less experience than guys who've been in the league for a while.
Patrick, you got this Cardinals team that wasn't a perfect game, but they did win in Week 1.
Mm-hmm.
So now they have this week to clean things up, but they also have that 1-0 record. What is that second week like when you've got the win in Week 1? But I mean, everybody's going to have stuff to clean up after the first game.
Yeah, it's just like an exhale because it's been so long that you wanted to get back out on the field. You got to think about, with the Cardinals, they left the building, January 8th, and this is their first real game. I know, we go through preseason and things like that, but when it all matters and you get that game week of preparation and so much anxiety is going through the mind, the body, because you want to be able to prepare and put your best foot forward. Now that you did that and got the W, now you can take a deep breath and take on that same process that you did last week that got you the W. Don't deter from that. Continue doing that, and hopefully it gets you another W this week. But it's definitely a big exhale after Week 1, and especially when you get a W.
Pat, what was your biggest disappointment in terms of watching the game against the Saints? Was there an element of the game that bothered you?
I'll probably say the end of the game. I felt like that game should have been put away. They gave the Saints a little bit too many chances. Like I said, I thought this game would be an easy game for the Cardinals to win, although I know this is the NFL. But this was one of those games where I wanted to see the Cardinals beat the Saints by at least 10 to 14 points to really put a mark on this season and start this thing off hot. Although they did win, but I think, like I said, this Week 1, I know some things they wanted because they had the game in control. It's just a couple mistakes late in the ball game that allowed the Saints to get back in, like a couple bad sacks that Kyler took. And I can't remember what else happened. I think it was a big play given up on the defensive side of the ball. But it was small things, and I'm just picking that with a fine-tooth comb. You know what I mean? So I know it's when they watch film, they're gonna see what I'm talking about. They're gonna clean it up, and hopefully those mistakes don't come up again this week.
Right.
Patrick, always great to talk to you, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pat.
All right, guys. See you next week.
All right, man. Sounds good. That's Patrick Peterson joining us right there on the Arizona Sports Line, and he said it. We'll talk to him again next week and every week this season.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.